Hello viewers, are you aware that discipline is not the sole responsibility of parents? Do you know that both the society and the church, they have vital roles they play? Are you also aware that children, they thrive more when the home, the society and the church, when they play all their roles very well, they come together is to shape a well-valued child. And let's look at it from that powerful angle. Let us consider it that discipline is not only a home affair, so it goes beyond that because the society and the church also plays a vital role. So today we will be considering the societal and the church inputs in child discipline. This input could be positive sometimes, and then some other times it could be negative. So we'll consider both the positive aspect and then the negative aspect of how the society and then the church could affect child growth, how it could affect their moral standards, how it could affect their godliness, how it could affect their accountability. Let us consider the societal inputs in child discipline. The society actually influences the discipline both positively and negatively. I'll go for the positive input first. Do you know that there are laws and policies that guide children, that set boundaries for them? What is acceptable and what is not acceptable? Yeah, this is a positive impact because the laws and the policies will tell you no child abuse. It will tell you that no child labor, no child brutality. It is the law that is actually guiding children, and it is very, very important. Two, do you know that the educational system, teachers, they reinforce these values, they impart discipline through, they have rules, they have orders, they have responsibility, they have structures and even consequences. This is the standard that is helping in shaping the lives of a child. What about the community and the culture? Of course, they encourage respect, they encourage honesty, and they encourage responsibility. Positive values and then the culture. They encourages maybe the traditions, they encourage respect, responsibility, and even obedience. We have so many of them again that poses as role models because the good leaders, the public figures, the community leaders, they can inspire positive behaviors in children, and this goes a long way in bringing them together. But unfortunately, the society can also influence negatively. They can have negative impact on child's growth. How? What about the media influences, the cartoons, the music, the movies, and maybe most of the time they can moralize rebellion, disrespect, or violences. If care is not taken, they have a way of negatively impacting child's growth. What about peer pressure? Friends that can easily mislead children into bad behavior. It's also a way that society can influence negatively. What about broken societal morals, where corruption is the order of the day, immorality is just on the high, and then dishonesty that prevail among people? What about children that copy all of these things? It could pose like a danger to the growth, to the morals of all children. Again, what about the overprotection of laws? In some societies, maybe parents are even afraid to discipline a child. To correct them becomes a threat because of child abuse accusations leading to indiscipline. Okay, the Lord said, don't do this, don't brutalize them, don't discipline them, don't use the rod, don't cane them, don't brutalize them. So parents, they get intimidated. So instead of putting in their best in discipline a child, then they withdraw. And then there we have indiscipline in the increase. Second part, let's go to the church. How does the church input in child's discipline? How can the church contribute? Because the church is actually meant to complement the family in raising a well-disciplined child. They are not supposed to sit back and watch. Remember that the church is a place where people come together to worship God. So they have rules. So I will be discussing the positive input and then the negative input. Yes. What about the biblical teachings? Children learn obedience, they learn self-control, and then they learn respect through God's word. So when next we are going to church or to Bible study, don't keep your children at home because the church have a positive influence on them. Take them along, let them learn obedience, let them learn so many things at the feet of Jesus. What about the Sunday school and youth program? These they actually provide moral instructions and mentorship. They have people they look up to, they have other people who look up to them. That is how they grow, and that is how they become sound in their mind. What about the role modeling of leaders? The pastors, the teachers, and other Christians around them can actually model godly character to them. Yeah, it is very, very okay. So your children will have to be part of the church. And what about the community of accountability? I love this because when you get to church, so many other brethren can actually help you in correcting them. Maybe things you could not see at home, other brethren will see them because they have so many people with correct mindedness in the church. So they get corrected. So where good behaviors is expected and corrected in love, that is the church. So the church plays a major role. So that means that your children will have to be in church. There in church, we have community of accountability. What about prayer and spiritual covering? I think this is a very good one because the church actually reinforces discipline through prayers, dedication, and guidance. You'll find all of this at the feet of Jesus. Just as I have said earlier, that there could be negative input also when the church fails. There is a possibility that the church could fail. What about hypocrisy among leaders? Most of the time children, they get confused when the leaders are telling them do this and then they themselves are doing something different. Children get confused. So hypocrisy in the place or in our places of worship is actually modeling children into doing the wrong thing. What about overlooking children's ministry in some churches? In some churches, they only concentrate on the adult churches. They neglect to build children's departments. They did not build them spiritually or morally. They were only concerned about the adults. I think this is a negligence that should be looked into by all churches. What about the overemphasis on fear? So some churches, they use threats rather than love. You go to hell, if you go to hell, God will punish you, God will do this. No, I think our teachings, our training in church should not be based on threats. Rather, it should be built on love, which is the love of God that turns everybody around. So in our churches, we should not overemphasize fear. We should not put fear into them but we should teach that fear through love. That if you love God, then you will fear Him, and that fear is not a threat. It is like a reverence to God. That is the way we should go. So let me have a recap of what I have said. To summarize all of my thoughts, this is what I've been saying, that the society sets the external climate for discipline and then either supportive or destructive. I said again that the church sets the spiritual and moral foundations for discipline. Church have the spiritual and then the moral foundation for discipline. They shapes values that lasts for life. What about the parent? The parents, they stand in between, balancing both differences to ensure children are raised in godly discipline. In conclusion, let me just say this way, that discipline is a shared responsibility. Home plus society plus the church. So when these three actually, when they align, children grows into disciplined and godly adults. So Psalm 127 verse 3 made us to understand that, lo, children are heritage of the Lord. So it is high time that we left all of our irresponsibility behind and pick up our responsibility in training the children, both the parent, both the society and the church. And my prayer is this, that may the church wake up from slumber. May the Lord help the society in fulfilling their duty, and may the Lord empower the parents in filling in the gaps, and may our society be filled with people of good morals, people who fear the Lord. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Helen, the convener of Marriage and Career Counseling Good by Purpose. You can call 07037 150 154.